Happy Saturday, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about Blake Lively's CRD complaint. I didn't even realize it was released, that it was unsealed, but I saw it last night and I was like, we need to talk about it because I haven't gone through it yet. So we're going to talk about Blake Lively's CRD complaint. I want to touch on TikTok again because we know that video got destroyed and demolished. So we'll try to talk about it again, see if we get destroyed again on that one. And then if we have time, we will talk about Ryan Reynolds and the massive PR fail for him. Either way, we're going to talk about that in the members only, which is following this live. Now, just as a heads up, please don't join the members only if you haven't joined it yet, because I am moving everything over to Substack. So this is the final month in the YouTube members only. But I just want to say hi to everyone before we get too into the live today. How are you guys doing? Yes, please like the stream. It's so nice to be here with you guys on a Saturday. Let me know what you guys are up to this weekend. And thank you for sharing the Substack, Leo. That's where we're moving a lot. We have the free community over there as well. So there's free content that's going to happen on Substack. And then there's a paid tier. The paid tier is getting access to a Kajabi portal. So I'm building you guys out a complete actual course and media manipulation, narrative control, PR tactics. It's going to be amazing. I'm really excited. So I'm building you that out on Kajabi. And as a bonus for jumping in, because I was surprised anyone jumped in before it was officially kicked off, I'm giving everyone that joins the paid tier of Substack access to my business bundle membership, which is typically $55 a month. More coffee. Thank you. I definitely need it today. I've got a top up in my Trust No Headline mugs. God, I need it. All our dogs were up all night sick with the fluctuate. It's like 30 degrees Celsius one day, 5 degrees Celsius and raining the next, hard frost, 30 degrees, and the dogs are not feeling it. So I am tired. I need coffee. And one more thing before we jump in, guys, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. I can't even believe I have to say this, but I got to say this. I'll make something clear. I do not blindly follow Candace Owens or anyone else. I mean, I was making a joke to one of my friends today. I was like, well, I'm not going to have any independent thoughts this week I'm not going to be able to think this week because Candace is apparently off. She's taking a week off. What am I going to do? I'm going to have no content. But what I've been starting to get tagged in is people accusing me of blindly following Candace Owens because we have similar beliefs around Charlie Kirk. Let me make this very clear. This whole channel is about media manipulation, narrative control, and critical thinking. It'd be slightly hypocritical of me to say all those things and then just bow down to someone and not critically think about things. So if my conclusions sometimes overlap with someone else's, it doesn't mean I'm inept at critical thinking. It means we're looking at facts and coming to similar conclusions. In fact, I think I'm up to 2.5 episodes of Candace's coverage that I've seen in full. I tend to watch Valhalla and the guys that understand the ballistics. I think that's really interesting because I know nothing about that. But we can absolutely disagree. You're going to like some things I say. You're going to hate some things I say. Taylor Swift, Swiftie fans here hate some of the things I say about Taylor, so they just ignore my Taylor content. But don't mistake that for blind loyalty to anyone, whether it's a government, whether it's Candace Owens, whether it's a public figure. I have no blind loyalty to anyone. I look at the facts. And so it will never have any basis in reality that I am just blindly following Candace Owens and not looking at the facts. I've looked at the facts, and that's why I have questions. And that's why I'm questioning Turning Point. And that's why I don't agree with things they're saying and doing. That's why. So I just want to make that clear. It's so bizarre to me. As soon as you talk about something and you might have similar views as Candace, people start acting like Ronan Farrow, where Ronan Farrow was on the Monica Lewinsky podcast, which we've broken down. And he's like, well, it's either legacy media and the people that are doing all their research and vetting sources properly, or it's disinformation and Candace Owens. Lumping people like that is no better than what Blake Lively did with this whole MAGA mommy sleuth bullshit. When she said, well, if you believe Justin, you hate women, you're MAGA mommy sleuths, and you're on the side of Candace and Megyn Kelly. That's literally the shit Blake Lively pulled. Don't be Blake Lively here. All right? Blake Lively mentalities don't fly here. So anyway, I think for myself, if you think I'm going down a rabbit hole, that's fine, but it's my rabbit hole to go down. You don't have to agree with it, but it's my rabbit hole, and I'm going to go down my rabbit hole. All right. I just wanted to say that, but we are going to dive into the CRD complaint. Did you guys know that the CRD complaint was revealed? Am I behind? Well, I know I'm behind. I'm definitely behind. But what? I just saw this. It's my rabbit hole, and I'll go down it if I want to. Leave me alone in my rabbit hole. You don't have to agree with me, but you don't have to agree with my rabbit hole. You don't have to follow me down the rabbit hole, but I'm going down the rabbit hole that I want to go down. And that's the thing. I was, as a little bit of an aside, I was shit at working at corporate. Everyone would say you have so much potential, but you just don't fall in line. You have so much potential to go far, but like you just have to follow the rules and stay in line and essentially like bend the knee, right? And I was never good at that. So I kept getting told in corporate that I had so much potential, but I would never live up to it because I just didn't fall in line. So that's just who I am my entire life. I mean, I was in grade 8 writing projects about removing animals from being property in the Canadian Criminal Code because I thought it was bullshit. Like it's just who I am. Okay. Blake Lively. Yeah. I see some comments about Blake Lively fatigue, and I'm with you guys. I'm behind. Yeah. I'm behind on Blake Lively too. I'm telling you, I was sleeping better. I was starting to have nightmares about Ryan and Blake. And I was like, hey, when I'm having nightmares about Ryan and Blake, I need to take some time away from the case. Be you, girl. That's what we're all about here, right? That's the whole point of the channel is be you. Think about things. Have an independent thought. Look behind the headlines. Mainstream media gives us zero reason to follow their hollow holes. Yeah, I'm with you on that, which we're going to talk about that in regards to TikTok too, guys. All right. This is the CRD complaint. So this was docket number. I haven't gone through it yet, so I'm going through it with you guys. 814-2. That was unsealed. So this says encloses a copy of the complaint of discrimination that's been filed with the Civil Rights Department in accordance with Government Code Section 12960. This constitutes service of the complaint pursuant to Government Code Section 12962. The complainant has requested an authorization to file a lawsuit. A copy of the notice of case closure and right to sue is enclosed for your records. All right, let's see what she had to say in it. I'm interested. So here it is. Complaint of employment discrimination before the state of California, aka Blake's reason, the litigation privilege to be able to run to the New York Times. I still believe that. I still believe that she had learned from mistakes that someone like Amber Heard, for example, made. Amber Heard got caught because she didn't have litigation privilege when she was sharing things online and saying things. So in the matter of the complaint of Blake Lively versus Wayfair Studios, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarowitz, Melissa Nathan, the agency group, Jennifer Abel, RWA Communications, Jed Wallace, Street Relations. Oh, and we'll briefly look at her contract too. We'll look at some of the PR, the funny PR that's coming out in regards to it. There's some funny stuff. I'm not going to go through that whole document, but we'll look at it. All right. So Blake Lively resides in the state of blank, apparently. Complainant alleges that on or about December 20th, 2024, respondent took to the following adverse actions. So complainant was harassed because of complainant's gender and sex, SH, hostile environment. Complainant experienced retaliation because complainant reported or resisted any form of discrimination or harassment, and as a result was other adverse actions. Additional complaint details. Complainant Blake Lively alleges that respondents Wayfair Studios LLC, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarowitz, Melissa Nathan, the agency group PR LLC, Jennifer Abel, RWA Communications LLC, Jed Wallace, and or Street Relations engaged in a variety of conduct in violation of California Government Code Section 12940. Okay, this is a thing right off the bat that drives me crazy. Okay, let me finish reading first. The conduct includes SH, retaliation, failure to investigate, prevent, and or remedy harassment, and aiding and abetting harassment and retaliation. Here's the thing, and I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't even play one on TV. My experience is in branding, marketing, and PR. No state will even claim her. Yeah, no state will claim her. It's true. How how would Jed Wallace, and you all know I have issues with him because he's tied to so many smear campaign websites that I've looked into. How would he know whether this was true or not, whether it was retaliation or not? Like, that alone just makes me so confused. But it also says failure to investigate. From everything we can find, Blake Lively is the one that had no interest in this being investigated. So now she's blaming them. And again, I think, my opinion only, that the CRD complaint was literally just a reason to be able to start her smear campaign in the New York Times. I believe they were, again, my opinion, they were smearing him previous to that. They were taking steps previous to that. It wasn't really picking up steam. And so they did the complaint. Oh, there's our friend Ezra Hudson. I, Ezra Hudson, am the attorney in the above entitled complaint. I don't trust a word that comes out of that woman's mouth. I have read the foregoing complaint and know the contents thereof. The matters alleged are based on information and belief, which I believe to be true. Just like you believe to be true, you and I had a meet and confer, Ezra, just like that believed to be true. I don't know. I don't trust your believe to be true. So, introduction on January 4th, 2024. And we're not going to read the whole thing. It's 86 pages. We're just going to pick out some things to read on it. Prior to resuming filming of It Ends With Us, following guild strikes, where my husband was rewriting scenes even during a writer's strike. Oh, sorry, that's not included. An all-hands meeting was conveyed on to address the hostile work environment that was nearly derailing production of the film. Attendees of the meeting included Justin Baldoni, who is the co-chairman and co-founder of Wayfair Studios, as well as the director, executive producer, and actor in the lead role of Ryle. 2, Jamie Heath, the chief executive officer, Wayfair, and producer of the film. 3, Ange Gianetti, film's representative for its distributor, Sony Pictures Entertainment. 4, Alex Sachs, a producer on the film. 5, Todd Black, producer on the film. 6, Blake Lively, who played the role of Lily Bloom in the film. You know, the Lily Bloom that Blake was hoping to get an Oscar for. Miss Lively also had the agreed upon right to have a representative present. She chose her husband. Like, here's the thing. And again, not a lawyer, but at what point does spousal support, not spousal support, although I'm sure she's going to want it after he leaves her. But at what point does spousal privilege fall apart? Like, she kept having her husband as her representative in meetings. They are both involved in Van Zandt. At what point does that privilege start to fall apart? And why don't you have like an actual representative with you? I don't know much about Hollywood, but would you have like a side rep? Would you have your lawyer? I'm not sure, but why your husband? The husband that I can't remember the timeline, whether it was before or after this, that was screeching at Justin Baldoni and screaming to the point where it made other people, or maybe it was this meeting, made other people uncomfortable because allegedly Justin had called Blake fat, but really all he did was ask that personal trainer guy how much she weighed because he has back problems, which is a legit question for anyone that has back problems. I've blown out discs. My L5S1 is a mess. You best believe if I have to pick something up, I need to be very careful with my back because even to this day, especially as I get older, it's very easy to blow it out again. And then what do you do to the film if Justin blows out his back? And when you herniate a disc, for example, I mean, you're out. I couldn't even put on my socks when I herniated my disc. So now what does that do to production? So you're looking at what, 6-8 weeks? That's when I finally was functional again. So anyway, I don't know where that spousal privilege ends and begins, but over and over, she's just getting Ryan involved in this, or he's getting himself involved. So she chose Ryan, given that the meeting was about repeated SH and other disturbing behavior by Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath. That doesn't make sense. So she chose her husband because the meeting was about SH and other disturbing behavior. That makes no sense. I can't even imagine if I have an issue on a set, bringing my husband in, or even on a job, like when I was in corporate. Can you imagine having an issue at corporate and you pick your husband to come in like that, or your wife, or whatever, like your spouse to come in with you? Can you imagine? It makes no sense to me. But she makes it out to be like, well, obviously she was being SH, so obviously her husband's going to go. And I wonder if that was also maybe to protect him within litigation. Again, I don't know. 2, as discussed in detail below, Miss Lively was forced to address concerns with Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's misconduct with them directly and began doing so months before filming began. The concerns she raised were not only for herself, oh my God, but for other female cast and crew, some of whom she has also spoken up. No, they haven't. You're going to hear like, I'm tired and I'm lacking coffee. You're going to hear like the Ashley ranting type video today. I apologize, guys. I try to keep it really professional and keep my 2 cents to a minimum, but too tired for that. No one has spoken up. No one. The January, it's like, trust me, bro. That is Blake's entire case. Trust me, bro. Rant girl rant. I love it. It's Saturday. We could do it. We could do a good rant on a Saturday. Why not? It's unhinged. We didn't go live much this week. It's just trust me, bro. Yeah, everyone look at me. I feel like she's setting up from day one. Look at me, the hero to women. Look at me, the new face to me too. And I originally believed her, by the way, for anyone that's new to the channel. I originally believed her. And I am more than happy to eat my words if it turns out something egregious happened. But I feel like the way her PR is going, if there was something, it would have been out by now. So 3, during the January 4th meeting, the parties discussed in detail the inappropriate conduct that Miss Lively, her employees, and other cast and crew experienced at the hands of Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath. After the list below was reviewed and discussed in its entirety, all parties present agreed with the outlined conduct would cease. So this is no more showing of videos or images of women, including producer's wife, to Blake Lively and her employees. This is at 17. Oh, no, this is the 30-point checklist. It's the 30-point one. I thought they agreed to the 17.1. Number 2, no more mention of Mr. Baldoni or Mr. Heath's previous addictions. 3, no more discussion of Blake Lively or her employees about personal experiences with schmecks, including as it relates to spouses or others. 4, no more mention of Blake Lively or her employees of personal time that physical consent was not given as either the abuser or the abused. Which isn't, you're on a film about domestic violence. I feel like she should have just never taken the case taken the movie in the first place. Like, if this kind of stuff makes you uncomfortable to talk about, if domestic violence makes you uncomfortable to talk about, maybe just don't take the movie. Maybe realize that the topic of the movie is too grown up for you and makes you uncomfortable. And maybe it makes her uncomfortable for certain reasons. I don't know. But realize it's not for you. Like, this is just ridiculous to talk about people's experiences with DV in a DV movie. I don't know. 5, no more descriptions of their own genitalia. 6, no more jokes or disparaging comments to be made of Blake Lively and her employees about HR complaints Wayfair has already received on set about missing the HR meeting. 7, no more inquiries by Mr. Baldoni and Blake Lively trainer about her knowledge or consent to disclose her weight. That's just 8, no more mention by Mr. Baldoni of him speaking to Blake Lively's dead father. 9, no more pressing by Mr. Baldoni for Blake Lively to disclose her religious beliefs or unsolicited sharing of his. See, some of these things, like the mentioning of the dead father, he's very spiritual. And I can get if it made her uncomfortable, but how did it have to escalate to something like this? Couldn't you have just said, hey, that just makes me uncomfortable? It just doesn't make sense to me. 10, if Blake Lively or her infant is exposed to COVID again, Blake Lively must be provided with immediate notice as soon as Wayfair or any other producers become aware of such exposure, because she needs to make the Eras tour again. 11, an intimacy coordinator must be present at all times. It seems like she was the one that didn't want one. 12, no more personal physical touching or comments by Mr. Baldoni. I feel like he wasn't doing physical touching other than within the role, but okay. By Mr. Baldoni or Mr. Heath to be tolerated by Blake Lively and her employees. So now they were touching her employees too. 13, no more improvising of kissing. She was the one that was improvising a kissing. 7, and remember that video that she had where she was sitting with Timu Thor, I can't think of his name, and Colleen Hoover. And the interviewer asked about the behind the scenes footage someone snagged on their phone of her pulling Justin Baldoni in. And she was like, where'd you hear that? Like, she was the one improvising and teaching him how to touch her and pull her in on the set. Blake Lively to have a representative on set at all times. It will monitor during scenes during any kind of activity or violence. 15, all actors participating with Blake Lively in intimate scenes involving her being in any state of undress or simulated nudity must be classified as active working actors, not friends, which we found out that was a lie because the actor in the birthing scene was not just some rando friend. He is an actor. 16, no more filming by any Blake Lively nudity without a fully executed SAG compliant rider in place. 17, any scene by Blake Lively or another performer depicting the character of Lily that involves nudity must be conducted strictly in accordance with the above referenced rider. 18, intimacy coordinator. 19, no monitors to be viewed or accessible on set or remotely during closed set scenes. 20, no more entering, attempting to enter, interrupting, pressuring, or asking Blake Lively to enter a trailer or makeup trailer by Mr. Heath or Mr. Baldoni. We saw the text messages, girl. You were the one saying, hey, I'm just like breastfeeding or whatever. I can't remember what she said. Like pumping, I think is what she said. Come to my trailer. Again, like it's just, she reminds me kind of like a PR person. I'm not even going to lie. So PR people are going to take, I get questions of that a lot, right? So these smear campaign websites, or if people are doing like this crisis PR and like doing a smear campaign against a rival, is it true what they're saying? Well, they take like a sliver of truth and they twist it, they spin it to fit a certain narrative, right? So that's what you see in PR. That's what it is when you have someone on the other side that's adversarial to you. That's kind of what the Jed Wallace smear campaign websites are. It doesn't mean everything they say is true. You take like this little sliver and you spin it. And it just feels like that's what Blake's doing here. Like, okay, yeah, they showed you a birthing video of Jamie Heath's wife or a picture or something, but it was like not out of line. It wasn't bad. I mean, she's given birth to 4 kids, for crying out loud. It's nothing, the miracle of birth, as they say. I don't know. I don't have kids, but the miracle of birth, isn't new to her. So she's taking these little slivers of truth and then just spinning them to fit a certain narrative. She reminds me of a PR person. Maybe that's the field she should have gone in. No more 21, no more private multi-hour meetings in Blake Lively's trailer with Mr. Baldoni crying with no outside Blake Lively appointed representative to monitor. And that turns out he was trying to tell her that there was backlash about her, because there was. There's backlash about her and the wardrobe and everything. Oh, is Bruce here? Hi, Bruce. And I just feel like she's very uncomfortable with emotions too. Like, it's pretty bad that someone crying makes you so uncomfortable that you spin it into like a SH claim checklist thing. Like, hey, I'm not good with emotions. I'll admit it right off the bat. I am not good with emotions. Call it my childhood upbringing, but I suck with emotions. But I don't because I'm uncomfortable with something. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm going to run to file a CRD complaint because someone's crying and I'm going to make it SH. Like, this is wild. 22, I don't think I've read the full 30 checklist. 22, no more pressing by Mr. Baldoni to sage any of Blake Lively's employees. Let me just 1 second, guys. My parrot is screeching at me from the other room, and I'm good at ignoring certain things, but she is escalating. The way she's escalating reminds me when I worked in group homes as a counselor, and they would escalate. The girls I'd work with would escalate to get your attention. That is what I'm dealing with in the other room right now. All right. So 22, no more pressing by Mr. Baldoni Sage. What do you got against Sage, Blake Lively? Are you afraid the demons are going to wake up? You afraid of those demons, girl? The bird is fine. It's driving me like, oh, all this to make a movie. Dang. I hear you, Bruce. I hear you. It's always so nice to see you. We love Bruce here. Check out Bruce's channel, guys. Like, what do you got against Sage? Freaking Sage. 23, producer, I keep meaning to find my new Sage. 23, producer Alex Sex to be given standard rights, inclusion authority per her job description and as represented Blake Lively when signing on. 24, Sony must have an active daily role in overseeing physical production of the remainder of the film. 25, have you guys seen the whole 30? I feel like I'm missing something. I don't think I've ever read the whole 30. 25, engagement of an experienced producer to supervise the safety of the cast and crew. She makes it seem like they're going to war. Like, this is the equivalent of Taylor Swift being like, I can't do the Super Bowl because Travis he's risking his life on that field. How do I do the Super Bowl halftime show when he's risking his life? These celebrities need like a healthy dose of reality, like to supervise safety. You're not in the coal mines, girl. 26, engagement of a Blake Lively approved A-list stunt double to perform Lillian scenes with Mr. Baldoni involving violence. I don't blame her for that, man. Like, I don't understand how it ends up in a complaint like this. I wouldn't want to film those scenes. But again, the question also becomes, why did you sign on for a movie about DV, which is going to be violent? I personally, if I was an actress, wouldn't want to take on these roles because I wouldn't want like this psychological trauma. But I also wouldn't take on a role like Charlie Hunnam just did for Monster and playing Ed Gein because I also wouldn't want the psychological trauma from that. But I wouldn't take on the role in the first place. 25. No, we read that. 26. Engagement. Oh, no, we read that too. Gosh, it's going to be a long day. 27. No more adding of schmeck scenes by Blake Lively outside the scope of the script. 28. No more asking or pressuring Blake Lively cross physical picket lines. No, they're just going to write the script from home with her husband. 29, no more retaliatory or abusive behavior to Blake Lively for raising concerns, requesting safeguards. 30, an in-person meeting before production resumes with Mr. Baldoni, Mr. Heath, Miss Sachs, the Sony representative, the new producer, Blake Lively's spouse, Ryan Reynolds. Like, why is Ryan in all of this? I don't understand. To confirm or approve a plan for implementation of the above that will be adhered to for the physical and emotional safety of Blake Lively. The emotional safety. But it's only garden variety emotional safety, guys. Only the garden variety type. Wow. So this meeting was an essential step in a process the parties had agreed to several months before to allow the cast and crew to safely resume production of the film. In mid-November 2023, the parties had agreed in writing to implement a list of protections enumerated in a contract entitled Protections for Return to Production. All right, we know about that. After receiving the document, Wayfair responded that Wayfair, Sony, and production respectfully acknowledge that Ms. Lively has concerns regarding safety, professionalism, and workplace culture. Although our perspective differs in many aspects, ensuring a safe environment for all is paramount, irrespective of differing viewpoints. Regarding your outline requests, we find most of them not only reasonable, but also essential for the benefit of all parties involved. How does she take that as them agreeing that this went on? I mean, this has been a long journey, but I don't ever remember reading that word for word. So Wayfair basically said, look, we don't agree, but basically we need to get this shit wrapped up and done and filmed. So sure, girl. And yeah, they're reasonable. They're things we would do anyway. So let's just sign off on it. What's the footnote to this one here? Wayfair ultimately confirmed its obligation to abide by all of the protections for return to production and a contractual rider executed on January 19th, 2024, which is attached here as Exhibit B. And Mr. Baldoni himself launched the marketing plan by hosting the first press event in early May 2024, a month before any other cast did a promotion of the film. I don't know. Guys, am I going crazy? Like, this to me doesn't read like Wayfair saying, I'm just going to write a note. What was it? Exhibit B. If we don't have time, we'll have a look at it on the members only. I promised myself I would have time to work out today. Trying to like build out Substack has just like meant I haven't even had time to work out. And mental health wise, I need to work out. Yeah, this like They're saying, look, we don't agree, but we need to get this movie done. So sure. And it's reasonable anyway, because per your contract, it says that you shouldn't be subject to SH. So this is all reasonable. So let's just get it done. Glow, thank you so much for the support. So nice to see you on this Saturday delusion. Thy name is Blake Lively. I feel you. I feel you. You promote a movie a month before release and then just peace. She's an absolute nightmare. If I was in Hollywood, I'd never work with her. Yep, too bad they couldn't fire her right away. I agree. Hello, Andrea, dropping in quick to say hi and like out with my mom. So we'll be back to rewatch later. I hope you enjoy it later. I don't know, guys. She's taking that to mean that they agreed with her. I feel like a lot of these celebrities, obviously Blake Lively, are surrounded by yes men so much that they're like, oh, obviously they're agreeing with me if they signed it. It's like the statement that Ezra is completely misrepresenting, and I can't remember the exact words, but basically Jen Abel and all of them are in a text thread, and they say, like, obviously Blake Lively believes this or something along those lines. I can't remember the exact words that they have, but they basically say, like, she believes this to be true. But what they're really saying is she's so out of touch with reality. Can you believe she believes this? But Blake Lively took it as, and Ezra misrepresented it as, they all agree that this actually happened. But really, they were just saying Blake Lively's crazy. Can you believe she actually believes this shit? All right. So, end of January, they discussed at length the details concerning this. The production of the film resumed on January 5th and concluded on February 9th. Like, this all goes down like a month. Oh my gosh. Film was a resounding success. Blake probably credits herself for that. Leading up to and in connection with the release of the film during the summer 2024, Miss Lively and fellow cast members promoted the film in accordance with the marketing plan created and delivered by the film's distributor, Sony. That's not true, though. That's not true. The marketing plan, which we see in text messages from Blake Lively herself later, Maximum Effort did the marketing plan. I'm sure it was signed off by Sony, but that's a misrepresentation of facts. That is not true. Blake said, we're like the mafia. We'll take care of marketing. And Justin was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have all this saved in my brain. Justin basically said, this is a hill I'm not willing to die on. Whatever, do what you want. Miss Lively and other cast members were under a contractual obligation to render promotional services in accordance with the marketing plan. Yes, the marketing plan that your husband and you created through Maximum Effort. The marketing plan directed the cast to focus more on Lily's strength and resilience as opposed to describing the film as a story about DV and avoid talking about the film that makes it feel sad or heavy. It's a story of hope. Yes, based on the marketing plan that you and your husband created through Maximum Effort. And see, that's again with the twisting of the facts with her with this is sure, there's a shred of truth here. Again, I think she totally missed out on an opportunity of being a PR person. And we're going to talk about it on the Members Only Live, but we're all going to read this book. Trust me, I'm lying. And Ryan Holiday describes PR, and hey, I can say this because I've been in the field. All right, I could say it. It's like a PR person, if they're saying something, they're lying because they have a goal for the client. And I think Blake would just do so great at that, taking a shred of truth and spinning it. That's all she does. The audacity to do this. Like, you created that. I don't care if Sony signed off on it. You created it. And then you misrepresent it in the CRD complaint so that you can run forward with a smear campaign, my opinion only, with the New York Times and have your ex-CIA, Nick Shapiro, protect you and run your own smear campaign while you blame and accuse Justin of doing that stuff. Why'd you need Nick Shapiro, Blake? And her bots, back when we were talking about Nick Shapiro, her bots were always like, he was just like the janitor there. Huh? He literally, her CIA PR guy, not that he's a part of CIA anymore. And if you're new here, make sure to watch those videos on Nick Shapiro. Her CIA PR guy was literally the one in the crisis comms room that would spin the story and bring it to journalists. He was the one that got the story out to who he wanted to in the way he wanted it, in the way the White House wanted it for the Hunter Biden laptop situation. The spin that they gave it, that it was all Russian disinformation. That's Nick Shapiro. That's who she brought in. And she wants to go on and on about what Justin may or may not have done. Girl, why'd you bring in the CIA? Again, not there right now. Height of arrogance, yes. Also, I love the lantern, jack-o'-lantern. I am like such a nerd for Halloween. Like Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my favorites. I love this time of year. So anyway, this is just, I can't deal with her. In the days leading up to the film's release, Baldoni abruptly pivoted away from the film's marketing plan, the type of publicity activities in which he had previously participated. Yeah, because he's probably like, girl, you're out to lunch. I'm not doing arts and crafts. All right. Talking about geolocation shares with you. What the public did not know was that Mr. Baldoni's team did so in an effort to explain why many of the film's cast and crew had unfollowed Mr. Baldoni on social media and were not appearing with him in public. I don't remember one time Justin talked about that. Do you guys, let me know in the chat. Let me know on the replay in the comments. Do any of you guys remember once during the marketing? So this would have been in 2024 that Justin Baldoni was trashing Blake Lively and talking about how everyone unfollowed him. In fact, the only interviews I remember where Blake Lively's name came up and Justin was talking about her, he was saying how amazing she was. How she should direct the next one. I mean, now we know he's being a little bit like, obviously sarcastic. I mean, like, I'm so done with this, whatever. But he only said positive things. Thank you. So I'm not going crazy. He actually praised her often. That's what I remember too. Nope, that's what I remember too. I don't remember him once. Thank you guys. I have the same recollection of all of this. I don't remember him once diverting from the plan to trash Blake Lively and explain why people unfollowed him. You put him in the freaking basement, Blake. You want to talk about who had all the control? You put the man in the freaking basement of his own movie. All right. Glow, thank you again. He never said a bad word about her at all. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. It's just so dishonest and sickeningly dishonest. He pivoted because they all left him out. Like, it's as simple as that. They all left him out. So he was like, all right, I'm still going to show up. Like, hey, I'm not ever going to say he's a perfect human. He's probably not, because I believe none of us are perfect. I believe any of us have a past where we regret things, where we said things or did things we regret. I just don't think he's guilty of what she's accusing him of. And the fact this CRD complaint, which started everything, is filled with lies, in some cases micro lies, in some cases big ass lies, tells you everything. To that end, him and his team used domestic violence survivor content to protect his public image. Or maybe that's just what he wanted to focus on. Not everything's a scandal. 8, what the public also did not know was that this was the beginning of a multi-tiered plan that Mr. Baldoni's team described as social manipulation designed to destroy Miss Lively's reputation. That plan was backed by virtually unlimited resources. Wayfair's co-founder, co-chairman, and leading financier is multi-billionaire Steve Sarowitz. She loves adding that in. Just like in the smear campaign in the Rebel Wilson, Amanda Ghost, Rebel Wilson keeps saying, like, Amanda Ghost is backed by multi-billionaire. This is the smear campaign. I'm sorry. Who divulged at the film's New York premiere on August 6, 2024, that he was prepared to spend $100 million to ruin the lives of Miss Lively and her family. With that backing, Mr. Baldoni and his Wayfair associates embarked on a sophisticated press and digital plan in retaliation for Miss Lively exercising her legally protected right to speak up about their misconduct on set, which she still hasn't proven or shown. I mean, how many subpoenas has she sent for? Delusional, literally. How many subpoenas did she send for content creators and found nothing? I think she was up to 107 at last count. She said that, I think PR content obviously was a little bit hitting too close to home, because not only did she put me in, for those that are new, I was quoted for my Nick Shapiro content in the MAGA Mommy Sleuth article with Glamour, but also received a subpoena. And I've never talked to any of them. I've never got any money from any of them. I mean, I'd love to have billionaire money. Not going to lie. I could have like a much bigger farm animal sanctuary, not stress about funds or anything. It'd be amazing. So on July 31st, 2024, following the recommendation of their publicist, Jennifer Abel, Wayfair and Mr. Baldwin retained a crisis communications specialist named Melissa Nathan to accompany the agency group. Nathan delivered a proposal, which included a website to discuss, full Reddit, social account takedown, full social crisis team on hand for anything, engage with audiences right away, start threads or theories, discuss. This is the way to be fully 100% protected. You guys, I'm convinced. Let me know what you think. I am convinced Blake is still searching for that website. She's like, it can't be. I don't think she believes that the only website is the lawsuit info. And Stephanie Jones, I still think Stephanie Jones had her own reasons for getting all her hands in all of this. I think Stephanie wanted to figure out who did her own. She had her own reasons for this, her own selfish reasons. But I honestly believe Blake is still trying to find that freaking website, smear campaign website that Stephanie Jones and Amanda Ghost had made about them. And there isn't one. I have tried. I have used all my tools, which has allowed me to track Jed Wallets to many other players, but not Blake Lively. I can't find anything in regards to this because it obviously doesn't exist. All right. Then they talk about being untraceable. That sounds like more of just like PR professional pumping up the client. Like, don't worry, it's totally untraceable. And untraceable is more, I imagine what they mean is like to the naked eye. Everything's traceable. So it went well beyond a standard crisis plan. They proposed including a practice known as astroturfing, which has been defined as a practice of publishing opinions or comments on the internet and the media, et cetera, that appear to come from ordinary members of the public, but actually come from a particular company or political group. Blakey Poo knows all about astroturfing because her husband does it. I did a video on that. Ryan Reynolds was doing it. Was it earlier this year? I can't remember. Earlier this year in Kingston, Ontario, where he made a fake account to show up in a Kingston community page, and it turned out it was Ryan. Yeah, they know all about astroturfing. Miss Lively obtained the communication set forth in this complaint through legal process. Yeah. So I'm imagining this where she says, Miss Lively obtained the communication set forth in this complaint through legal process, including a civil subpoena. That's the Van Zandt one, right? Thank you so much, Glow. Rich trying to pay victim of the ultra rich. Yeah. So detached from reality. Like, people have actual real problems. And these rich people with like 500 million are playing victim against, Steve Sarowitz. It's wild. Hello, MDR. It's so nice to see you. Thank you so much for the support. With the recent Jen Abel SJ ruling, yes, I meant to catch up on that as well. Blake Lively, SJ, and Ryan Reynolds aren't sleeping easy. I still think Van Zandt's potential criminal exposure is their biggest worry, and Taylor Swift doesn't want a Fed state prosecutor subpoena. That's a good point. I'm going to be honest, and this is going to piss off the Swifties. That's totally cool. Whatever. I think she knew all along what was going on. I don't think she knew about fake SH claims. But this shit happens in Hollywood. Like, these takeovers literally happen in Hollywood. And I don't know. I agree. She doesn't want that. And I agree that they've got to be shaken in their boots about criminal exposure. I don't know, guys. But yeah, anyway, I think that's the Van Zandt subpoena, which I hope they get criminal charges for that. I love how they put astroturfing, the Cambridge Dictionary. Just ask Ryan. Hey, man, I wish I could find it really quick because I would show you guys the page because it's still live. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Because I'll show you him doing it. I think it's still... Yeah, let me flip over quick. This isn't the original thread, but there's screenshots of it. This is astroturfing. So it's when you're pretending it's organic, but it's not. It's like you, right? So looks like it was Ryan Reynolds posting from a fake profile. Such a Scorpio thing to do. And here for recommendations in Kingston yesterday. So this is going back in March. This is his story today. Wild, wanted to share the news. Sorry for breaking your cover, Ryan. Brad M. Murphy posted in the group yesterday, and Linda Lee sent him a photo of the street sign. Today, Ryan Reynolds' Facebook story is of the hip sign. Hope you enjoyed your visit, Ryan. How cool. So you guys remember this in his stories? And there was like all this controversy over whether it was actually fake or not. This is him, Brad M. Murphy, posting in the group. This is astroturfing. They could have just, I mean, they weren't afraid to quote Ryan in other ways in the CRD complaint. They should have just asked him for the definition. So Brad M. Murphy was posting, and Brad M. Murphy said, I'll be getting a selfie by that. Thanks, Linda Lee. And then he literally, this is the selfie that showed up the next day. And then there's another one here. Brad M. Murphy, I really wish you told me you were Ryan Reynolds so I could have run down and been in the selfie with you at Tragically Hip Way. Heartbroken. Hope you enjoyed our city, K-Town. Much love. So there's astroturfing. Like, it's just, and the thing is, it was all PR. It was local PR. But if you were local, which I am to that, it was a huge rush of PR. And then even the fact that it looked fake was a whole PR thing, because what ended up catching on like wildfire was like a big joke in Ontario, Canada, of like people taking that picture of Ryan and copy pasting it in front of their building. So people were actually using that to promote, say, local humane societies and stuff, being like, oh, Ryan was here. It turned into a whole PR campaign. So it was all, I wish I could find the other one. There was more about it as well, but it just gets me so upset when Blake accuses people of doing things that they do. Anyway, I do have a whole video on it. All right, so then they have here, they have the screenshots, which we know are not real, or well, they're real, but they're edited. So to get ahead of the narrative, Miss Nathan's plan proposal strategies to advance misleading counter narratives included pushing Nathan's narrative that Miss Lively had less than favorable reputation. I mean, she does have a less than favorable reputation. Proposing to explore planting stories about the weaponization of feminism. I mean, that whole clique does. So this is, okay, I can't read this really well, but it looks like JB on one side, and I'm guessing this is Jen or Melissa Nathan, maybe. So this is the first time I've personally gone through scenario planning with them. So I think let's let them discuss the thinking behind the document and the actual process and protocol of how they implement these things. That's the most important part of this, is how quickly they can shut things down and place stories in your favor. Be honest on this call. Let's give real feedback to each point. Be honest. Oh my gosh, it's so nefarious. Justin, be honest on your interview, Oh my God, so nefarious. And shutting down stories, that's just like a PR thing. Your faves do it all the time. So initially, Mr. Baldoni expressed concern that Tag's written plan was insufficient, aggressive to protect him. We know all of this. We've seen these text messages. You know, of course, we can do that. I think he needs to know. I'm going to confidentially send you something. He's texting me and Jamie on the side just to arm you before this call. I think you guys need to be tough and show the strength of what you guys can do in these scenarios. He wants to feel like she can be buried. And that was from Jen Abel, Melissa Nathan, of course. But you know, when we send over documents, we can't send over the work we'll do, because that could get us in a lot of trouble. But Melissa Nathan will just talk about it. But she'll just like talk about it in rando text messages like she did with the Rebel Wilson one. So she says again, and we know this, I can't write it down. We can't say we'll destroy her. We'll go do this. We'll do that. And then Melissa Nathan says again, you know, we can bury anyone. I can't write that to him. I will. I'll be very tough. So a few days later, Baldoni, we know all this, so we'll just skim it. But this is the picture that allegedly Justin had sent through about Hailey Bieber. So in the weeks and months that follow, with the direction and approval of Wayfair and Mr. Baldoni, the team engaged in a sophisticated, coordinated, and well-financed retaliation plan. So a lot of this is just doubled up in their actual lawsuit. On August 10th, the day after the release of the film, Melissa Nathan reported that they had started to see a shift on social, largely due to Jen Team's efforts to shift the narrative. So it says, hi team, so far this is from Jennifer Abel. Extremely limited pickup on Daily Mail or Page 6. We'll continue to keep an eye out and send pieces as needed. Well, it looks like they're saying limited pickup. What? But so far it's been steady coverage on pure speculation. We've also started to see a shift on social due largely to Jed and his team's efforts to shift the narrative towards shining a spotlight on Blake and Ryan. And again, I guess like the thing is that's just PR. There's nothing illegal about PR. I guess the question is that retaliation? Well, it just seems like protection to me against what they were doing. Because PR is PR. It's not illegal to have fluff pieces. Like that's not illegal. I guess the question is, was it retaliation? And in my opinion, when you look at how everything rolled out, you can clearly see a trace of Blake and Ryan putting the Easter eggs, if you will, to use terminology from Taylor Swift, putting the Easter eggs out all along, even the unfollowing. You mean to tell me that they didn't pick that up from a famous bestie, how unfollowing and then maybe sending that story to the media will start a shitstorm? Come on. Melissa Nathan, the majority of socials are pro-Justin. I don't even agree with half of them. And then they're using these texts here. Melissa Nathan, he doesn't realize how lucky he is right now. We need to press on him just how fucking lucky. Melissa Nathan says, whispering in her ear, the connotations like Jesus effing Christ. Other members feeling uncomfortable watching it. I mean, like, there's just so much. And are they talking about the dance scene, which wasn't what it turned out to be? I don't know. All right, so we have those text messages. Those are in the official lawsuit that Blake filed on August 17th. Ms. Nathan circulated a Daily Mail article entitled "String of Hard-to-Watch Videos That Have Surfaced Following Tone Deaf Q&A to Promote It Ends With Us Could Tarnish 36-year-old's golden Hollywood image for good." To which Miss Abel responded, "Wow, you really outdid yourself with this piece." And Miss Nathan replied, "That's why you hired me, right? I'm the best." But they cut out the whole thread here. So if you've seen the whole thread, which Justin posted, they're like bantering back and forth saying they didn't even have to do anything. So what they're really saying in the full thread is that they actually didn't put this there. They weren't involved with this. But of course, they cut out certain things. But they're just back and forth. And I think one of these is where the upside down smiley was removed as well. I think it's in that thread there. So in their own words, Wood revealed the purpose of the social manipulation plan was twofold. It was aimed to, one, conceal a pattern of harassment and other misconduct by Mr. Baldoni, Mr. Heath, and Wayfair, and B, retaliate against Miss Lively by battering her image, harming her businesses, and causing her and her family severe emotional harm, which then she later backtracked. It was like, no, it's not severe emotional harm. It's just garden variety. Please don't make me prove it. So I was actually at the Eras tour every time I said I was sick or I said something was wrong. So factual background, Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath of Wayfair engaged in inappropriate and unwelcome behavior towards Miss Lively and others on the set of It Ends With Us. So we already went over that. Mr. Baldoni ignored well-established industry protocols in filming intimate scenes and exploited the lack of controls on set to behave inappropriately. Then why didn't she, here's the thing. She didn't want any investigation. What we're seeing is she didn't want any investigation. What we're seeing from proof is that he had messaged her about the intimacy coordinator. She didn't want to meet with the intimacy coordinator. And this whole thing of Mr. Baldoni improvised intimacy. This is what the feel I've gotten, yes, please like the stream, my friends. If you're here, it helps the channel so much, especially since I started covering Charlie Kirk. The channel's been hit. We actually have like a suspicious activity flag on the channel now. And every day the YouTube platform is cleaning up this channel to protect you from, I don't know what. Apparently you need protecting from my information. But I feel like Blake set a certain tone in many ways. In that video of her pulling him closer and improvising and using the word sexy. And from what it feels to me so far, again, I am open to having my mind changed. What it feels like so far is like, okay, well, she's setting the tone. It's safe to improvise. It's okay to improvise. It's okay to do these things. It's okay to use the word sexy. And so it's like, this is just how we speak. This is just how we are together. And then she's screaming SH about it. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me, especially the sexy piece, because she had said in text messages she wanted her character to look sexy. And then he said that outfit looks sexy. And then she flips out about it. Mr. Baldoni insists on shooting scenes over and over again. Like, it's like she's saying he's so in love with me, he had to keep shooting these scenes. Like, it's just weird. On occasion, Mr. Baldoni and Miss Lively were filming a slow dance scene on a montage. And we know this was all bullshit, in which no sound was recorded because Blakey didn't realize sound was being recorded. You all know Justin's wife was like, you best be mic'd up at all times around this woman. You know his wife was on to Blake. So here they are in the CRD complaint, lying again. There's no sound. Mr. Baldoni chose to let the camera roll and have them perform the scene, but did not act in character as Riley. Riley, I don't fucking know. I don't know this book. Instead, he spoke to Miss Lively out of character as himself. She was leading. Talking about random shit. At one point, he leaned forward and slowly dragged his lips from her ear down her neck as he said, "It smells so good." None of this was remotely in character or based on any dialogue in the script, and nothing needed to be said because, again, there was no sound. Oh my, she must have pooped her pants. Can you imagine that day the sound recording, the audio came out for that scene? She must have had, she needed to pop a couple Xanax. Yeah, I agree. It's as though she bait him into all of it. That's a good point. That's a great point. We saw what we saw. Yep. That day that audio came out, she must have almost had a heart attack and then lost her mind on someone because she edited all of this after, or actually it wasn't the CRD complaint, because she filed the initial lawsuit, which basically is a replication of this. And then she edited it to take out certain things because she realized she was caught in regards to the dance scene. Because we know It Smells So Good. He was just trying to reassure her. She was being awkward. She is so awkward, which is fine. I'm awkward too. I am super awkward. I am not a people person. Like I have ADHD. I'm very odd in groups. So, I can't fault someone for being awkward. However, he was trying to reassure her when she was being so awkward about the smell of like her body makeup or something. And then she goes on later, which we also covered on the channel this year, where she's going on about how she uses different scents for different characters to have a different smell for each character. Like, what is it, Blake? You want people noticing that you smell a certain way or you don't? Like, I don't understand you. So B, Mr. Baldoni inserted improvised gratuitous content and or scenes involving nudity into the film, including for an underage character. The actor was not, I think this is Isabella, was not underage, in highly unsettling ways. She talks about the day of giving birth. His friend was the one that did it, was the birth scene. When the birth scene was filmed, the set was chaotic, crowded, and utterly lacking in standard industry protections. I'm waiting for that clip to come out because y'all know there's a clip of what she's actually wearing. Mr. Heath and Mr. Baldoni also failed to close the set, allowing non-essential crew to pass through, where she was only wearing a small piece of fabric covering her genitalia, which it's come out afterwards that she was apparently wearing like boxer short kind of briefs, that she wasn't, in fact, just wearing like one of those, I can't think of what it's called off the top of my head, but what they typically wear in those scenes. So it says generally nudity below the waist in film utilizes a small piece of nude fabric glued around the female actor's area and provides some minimal privacy without disturbing the shot. To add insult to injury, Mr. Heath approached Miss Lively and her assistant on set and started playing a video of a fully nude woman with her legs spread apart. It was a picture of his wife giving birth. C. Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath discuss their personal experiences and previous addictions and try to pressure Miss Lively to reveal details about her intimate life. We all know about that. D. Mr. Baldoni objectified Miss Lively and other women by commenting on or criticizing their bodies as sex objects. Oh, for the love of God. Mr. Baldoni often referred to women in the workplace as sexy. Again, we know that Blake had used that word first. She had used that as how she wanted the character to look. She wanted the character to look sexy. 484. On another day, Lively wore a low-cut dress to facilitate breastfeeding, but had it covered up with a coat. When the jacket briefly popped open at one point to reveal the dress, Mr. Baldoni commented about how much he liked her outfit. Does this remind you of Blake with Kirsty, where she's like, what about the outfits on set? And Blake's like, oh, you wouldn't ask the men this question, would you? And Kirsty's like, yeah, I would. And Blake goes on this whole like rant about you wouldn't ask men about if you have a nice outfit, but all Blake talked about and the entire marketing of It Ends With Us was her outfit. She's insane. So it says, as a result of his behavior on May 29th, 2023, another cast member lodged an SH complaint about Mr. Baldoni's gross and unwanted comments. We still haven't seen that. We've only seen the AI fake ones that made their way out. The AI fake reports that looks like that crazy psychologist released. Oh my God. Well, on the one hand, Mr. Baldoni objectified Miss Lively as a sex object. On the other hand, he went out of his way to message criticism of her age and weight, neither of which she could change during filming. I just can't with her. On the second day of filming, for example, Mr. Baldoni made the rest of the cast and crew wait for hours while he cried in Miss Lively's dressing room, claiming social media commentators were saying that Miss Lively looked old and unattractive based on paparazzi photos from the set. That is true. That did happen. She tried to reassure him that she should look authentic to the scenes depicted in the photos, which were just about her character had been abused by her fictional husband rather than hot. It was the outfits, man. And not just the outfits. It had nothing to do with like it looking and being depicted honestly to the film. Blake, they just thought you were too old for the film, girl. That's it. That's it. That was a backlash. I didn't even know It Ends With Us back then. I had never read the book. I didn't know who Colleen Hoover was. I didn't know who Justin Baldoni was. I only knew Blake Lively as Ryan Reynolds' wife because I actually was a big fan of Ryan Reynolds back in the day. No, girl. I remember the backlash because at the time I was like, what movie is this? God, she looks horrible. And it was purely you were too old and people hated your outfit. Mr. Baldoni also routinely degraded Miss Lively by finding back-channel ways of criticizing her body and weight. A few weeks before filming began and less than 4 months after Miss Lively had given birth to her fourth child, Miss Lively was humiliated to learn that Mr. Baldoni secretly called her fitness trainer without her knowledge or permission, implied that he wanted her to lose weight in 2 weeks. Oh, she also complained here Miss Lively was not given proper lactation breaks by Wayfair during filming, which sometimes stretched into 6 hours without a break. When filming finally broke, Miss Lively would have to run to her trailer to breastfeed. The lack of accommodation for her need to express milk caused her to develop painful mastitis. When Miss Lively caught strep throat, Mr. Baldoni offered as a gift to connect her with an expert he had on retainer to help her with probiotics and to combat the sickness. When Miss Lively went to fill out the privacy forms, she saw the expert was not what Mr. Baldoni represented her to be, but was instead a weight loss specialist. Why do I feel like that's not the case? Or the individual is like a holistic practice. I can totally see Justin having like a holistic practitioner on speed dial. Like hey, I'm spiritual. I love human design, astrology. I sage the shit out of everything. My office is covered in crystals. I can totally see Justin having a holistic practitioner on speed dial. And I think of my naturopath, and she specializes in certain conditions, including weight loss. And I would imagine that's probably how this situation went down if this person, in fact, was also a weight loss specialist. They failed to implement COVID protocols. Wasn't she at the Eras tour every time she said she had COVID? I think Elsie figured that out. B. Miss Lively and others lodged grievances regarding the conduct of Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath, which Wayfair declines to investigate. I feel like she was the one that declined from the knowledge we have so far. On May 26, 2023, Miss Lively told a representative of Sony that she wanted to file an HR complaint about Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's misconduct. The Sony rep told Miss Lively that Sony, as a distributor of the film, was not empowered to control Mr. Baldoni or Mr. Heath's behavior on set. They said they were Wayfair, Baldoni, and Heath said they were aware of a number of HR grievances regarding their conduct. For example, on the first day of filming, while attempting to hug Miss Lively's employee, Mr. Heath said, "I don't even know if we're allowed to do this. It's day one, and we have an HR report already." So they're huggers. And she's using, are you kidding me? How did I miss that piece? Is this news to everyone else too? I missed that piece, that they're just huggers, and they've used that against them in an HR complaint. And it's totally cool to be like, I'm not a hugger, man. And you could argue, like, he should have asked, is it okay to give you a hug? But again, how does it end up in the smear campaign CRD complaint? And the one report, wasn't it freaking, what's her name? Oh, I can't even think of her name. Played the sister of Baldoni in the movie. Anyway, I keep wanting to say Liz Plank, but it's not Liz Plank. The other one. The other female involved in all of this mess. Jenny something. That's how insignificant she is to me. But anyway, she was pissed because Jamie Heath was going to pay her back for her apartment, like 15. There we go. Jenny Slate. Thank you guys. Pay her back for her apartment. Like they were going to refund like $15,000. And then she was pissed because he talked about the sanctity of motherhood. And I think that's one of the complaints they're talking about. Like, how I would be making a joke about that too, of like, all right, we already got a report. And all I was doing was trying to give this woman $15,000 and accommodate her and her child. Like, thank you so much, Glow. Greetings with hugs as part of their religion. That's true too. That's true too. And again, it's just a simple, hey man, I don't do hugs. That's all. You know, some people love hugs, some don't. It's totally cool to just make your preference known. And especially if he's like making this whole thing, right? Like, it sounds like there's a conversation going. And I don't even know if I'm allowed to do this. You could have been like, hey, I'm just not a hugger, but I'm so-and-so, and extend your hand out or something. But I guess that's just too mature for these people. 58. Additionally, early in the production, another actress made a complaint about Mr. Baldoni's comments on her appearance. This is all in the actual lawsuit. See, the parties negotiate. For those that are just jumping on now, the actual CRD complaint was just put on the docket, or was previously sealed. See, the parties negotiate a contract rider regarding Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's conduct on set of It Ends With Us. Did anyone negotiate or talk about problems with Ryan Reynolds rewriting scenes during a writer's strike? So the 10th provision required that there shall be no retaliation of any kind against Ms. Lively for raising concerns about the conduct described in this letter or for those requirements. I can't find any proof that there was retaliation. D, production concluded Miss Lively. We're just going to skim the rest of this. Production concluded Miss Lively and other cast and crew promoted the film according to the marketing plan. So they have the pictures there. And again, remember, guys, the marketing plan was created by her and her husband. But she's like, Justin pivoted away. Yeah, because you're leaving him out. Like, what the hell? And then Justin, they try to use this against him. Justin Baldoni and Jennifer Abel. I'd like you guys to start posting me only talking about DV and clips of why this movie is so important. That's not nefarious. Like, that's not nefarious. He had a direction he wanted the marketing to go in, and he was like, fine, you guys are going to leave me out of yours. I'll just do my own thing. Mr. Baldoni's team formulated a retaliatory plan, and Blake Lively's head is the only place that exists. They have a PR strategy. PR strategy and retaliatory plan are two totally different things. F. Wayfair engages Melissa Nathan and Tag on behalf of Justin Baldoni. Oh, here they go on. Same thing. Like, they're talking about the price. $25K is not a lot. Like, I still don't understand how people in this world think $25K is a lot. I guarantee Blake's spending nearly $100,000 a month on her crisis PR and all the people involved in her crisis PR. They create a scheme against Blake Lively. I mean, yeah, this is all the rest of this is just in the lawsuit, but I think they just like copy pasted into the lawsuit. It's all like tailored text messages. I genuinely think the text messages were just chosen for the New York Times to be able to go through and use. But anyway, it's all those text message threads. We covered those way back. I think we did like 2 5-hour streams reading through all of that back in was it December? All right, my friends. Anyway, that's a CRD complaint. It's basically a copy paste of what she put in her original lawsuit is what we're starting to see now. They basically copy and pasted it. I tell you guys, I tell you. And the audio for Steve Sarwitz is not available yet. I did check this morning. It's still showing up as sealed documents are no longer available. Please contact the court directly. So I don't know what's going on with that audio. That was days ago. I don't know what's taking so long to get anything out in regards to that, but we don't see anything for the audio with Steve Sarwitz at this point in time. Thank you so much for the support, Wicked. I really appreciate it. All right. There's a recording of him from last year, though, Ashley. For who? Sorry, I think I missed something. It's Ezra on this. Good question. Yep, it is Ezra on the CRD complaint. We'll go back up to the top. Just careful if this is going to make you, before we flip over to TikTok, we'll just go back up to the top. If this will make you seasick, car sick, upset, go right up. So that's Exhibit 2. This was all sealed December 20th. Where did we see Ezra's name? So Manat, Phelps, and Phillips. So Ezra Hudson was the main one, and she had signed her name at one point, and Wilkie, Farr, and Gallagher. It seems like a lot of attorneys to have on board as well. Like, this might be completely normal, but doesn't it seem like a lot of attorneys to have on board to just file a CRD complaint? So she had the whole crew there. She had everyone there. Let's just check quick. So at the bottom, it looks like the Blake L. Inc. So Exhibit B. Code WME Entertainment. And copy to Sloan. So this is in reference to the actors. So I think this is the rider that they put. Yeah, this is the nudity rider. Or no. This is the signed 17-point list. This is the signed 17-point list. Sorry, guys. Okay, so November 15th, 2023, Blake L. for Blake Lively. Apparently she was on loan out. Co WME. Copy to Sloan. References made to that certain actor agreement dated on May 5th, 2023 between It Ends With Us Movie LLC and Blake L. Inc., lender for the acting related services for It Ends With Us. The parties wish to confirm the conditions under which lender has agreed to cause artists to render acting services on the picture following the break in production of the picture related to the 2023 WGA and SAG-AFTRA labor strikes. Now, therefore, for good and valuable consideration, the receipt of which is hereby acknowledged, company agrees to the following additional terms and conditions in connection with artist services and use of artist results and proceeds in the picture, which shall be deemed incorporated into the agreement. So 1, an intimacy coordinator must be present at all times when Blake is on set. 2, with respect to artists, any and all rehearsal, filming, reviewing a playback, video playback, or dailies and or any other interaction with any scene involving schmecks, nudity, or partial nudity shall be restricted to those persons with essential business reasons for being present, as approved by artist and Todd Black, as further described in the nudity rider. 3, there is to be no spontaneous improvising. 4, physical touching and or comments on artist's physical appearance must only be made in connection with the character. That seems to be how it was. So there's no physical touching, including hugging of artists. I can't believe they couldn't just like honestly tell people, like just be like, hey, just no hugging, please. Like I imagine they would have all just not. They've got to put it in a freaking 17-point checklist. 5, there are to be no discussions with artists of personal experiences with spouses or others. 6, no one will attempt to interrupt, pressure, or request entrance to artist's trailer while she is in any state of undress for any reason. Blake is the one that invited them over there. I just feel like she kept setting them up. I don't know. It just feels like she kept setting them up. 7, there shall be no rehearsal or filming of artist, except as expressly permitted. 8, artists may have a representative of her choosing present with her on set for the remainder of the rehearsal and shooting days, including while on a closed set. So I'm guessing that's Ryan. 9, if artist is exposed to COVID-19, she must be provided notice. 10, there shall be no retaliation. 11, except as otherwise agreed by artists while artist is on set, Sony must have a mutually approved rep. 12, Wayfair will engage an additional experienced A-level producer approved by artist. 13, Wayfair must empower any existing third-party producer with appropriate and customary authority to actively supervise the production. 14, Wayfair will engage an A-list stunt A-list. That's cute that Blakey thinks she's A-list, so she needs an A-list stunt double. Approved by artist. 15, any rehearsal or shooting involving artists or any other performer depicting the character of Lily that involves certain types of scenes must be in alignment with her rider. 16, any and all day players that participate in any way in scenes with artists involving nudity, etc., must be engaged through customary industry talent agencies. She is really convinced that the one guy that was doing the birthing scene is just like JB's bestie. 17, at artist election, an all hands in-person meeting before production resumes, which will include the director, the existing producer, Sony rep, approved producer, etc., before moving forward. In the event any conflict between the terms and conditions of the agreement and the terms and conditions of this side letter agreement, the terms and conditions of the side letter agreement shall control. Acknowledged, agreed, and accepted. So Blake signed and Jamie Heath signed. And looks like Jamie Heath and their response was basically like, we don't really agree, but we're going to sign it to get all of this going. And then this is the nudity rider. So sent for signature to Jamie Heath, viewed by Jamie Heath, signed by Jamie Heath. The document has been completed. Exhibit C. I don't know. I can't remember what C is. The positioning of it. Oh, yeah. So this is the marketing plan. Well, there you go. There's the marketing plan. So it says what it is. So it's about the book, positioning. Blake Lively and Justin Baldwin Jr. starring in the film. Justin's also directing and executive producing. Blake is also producing. Talks about the teen versions. It ends with us is a big, emotional, complicated story about breaking free from the past and empowering yourself in your future. The character of Lily Bloom has resonated with so many readers because her journey is relatable. Her story isn't black and white. She has to make hard decisions that have lasting consequences. This is a story about Lily's journey from leaving a small town, moving to Boston, and embarking on a whole new life. She leaves behind a complicated childhood and is doing so discovers her own resilience and strength, empowering her to stand up for adversity. This movie has every emotion: joy, sadness, pain, and hope. Oh, Blake definitely wrote that. Blake definitely wrote that. That's hilarious because this is exactly word for word what she says in one of the interviews. Okay, so it just goes into a little bit more what to avoid, focus more on Lily's strength and resilience as opposed to describing the film as a story about DV. And again, remember, Maximum Effort is the one that put this together. Empowerment is not about just standing up to adversity, but also about having the power to overcome within oneself and grow from it, developing agency to shape the future. Didn't Blake use that word agency a lot in marketing? Avoid describing the film as a love story or love triangle. It's the story of Lily learning how to take agency of her future. Avoid talking about this film and how that makes it feel sad or heavy. It's a story of hope. Grab your friends and florals, guys. The movie comes out. Oh, it's so obscene. Avoid talking about the film being represented. Avoid talking about the film being representative of every woman's story. There are many stories of DV, and this is just one perspective. Only if asked, any questions about the story not being an authentic representation of DV. This is just one perspective. Any questions about lack of diversity in the cast? They had something to come up with that as well. And then it shows the scenario planning for it ends or Jamie Heath and co. I mean, Blake, Sony didn't do this. I mean, we have the text messages where she said that freaking, oh, she's exhausting. She is so exhausting. Thank you so much for the support, Jamie. I gotta say, this girl's acting like an actual real life dementor from Harry Potter out here. That's hilarious. I love Harry Potter. Welcome, Diana. It's so nice to have you. I love the pumpkin, the jack-o'-lantern. It's my season. I love this season. Thank you so much, MDR. And we have we're late for it now, but we do have a members only right after this. We're going to talk about Ryan Reynolds and his PR fail and other things as well. If I was Spielberg or Chris Nolan, I would have a rider on my director contract that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are never, ever allowed on the set ever. Yeah, pretty much. Like that would be in my contract. Like in no way are Blake Lively, any of this Maximum Effort, any of it allowed anywhere near me. It just is crazy to me that she takes some signing that as they agree that they did all these things when really it was just, we agree these are reasonable. They should be in place anyway. We just need to get this movie shot. So yes, we will sign it. It's just wild. All right, let's flip over quickly over to TikTok for those that, and then this will probably only be about 10 minutes or so. And then we will, famous last words. Then we'll flip over to, oh geez, I better plug in my computer. We'll flip over to the members only. Okay. So we did a video on TikTok previously and it crashed during it. We had so many issues with it. Why is it not charging? So I ended up taking it down because it also got flagged. Why is my computer not charging? Well, that's a problem. Okay, it's working now. That would have been bad news bears. Ashley would have been getting off the live and going to buy a new computer. That's what I would have been up to next. So the video was just, it just got destroyed. So we're going to try this again. But one of the things that I've been saying for some time is this TikTok deal isn't something to be excited about. Like it's just not something to be excited about. And one of the big pieces I've been pushing on social media recently is that it's no longer, so previously I'd even say 2024, like that recent, maybe even early 2025. What we had was kind of like legacy media versus social media, right? So it was the legacy media who was bought and paid for, had certain agendas by the powers that be. And then you had social media. So people on TikTok, people on Instagram, YouTube, digging into and exposing what we do here, like exposing headlines, exposing what's behind the spin that you're seeing. But that's not the case. And it hasn't been the case for a while, but I mean, it's just like picked up, I'd say in 2024, where it's really legacy media has infiltrated everything and content suppression has infiltrated everything on YouTube. Like I said, my channel, ever since I started talking about Charlie Kirk, has been flagged for suspicious activity. I've spoken to YouTube. I'm like, look, you're claiming that something's going on my end. I have run every check on my computer. I've run every check on my software. There is nothing suspicious on my end. And they're basically like, oh yeah, then, like, don't worry about it. They can't answer me on what's going on. So there's the fight of legacy media versus social media is no longer real. We also know that if you've been following my Charlie Kirk coverage, but this is like been going on. It's just a recent example that Netanyahu, for example, is paying influencers $7,000 plus to post pro-Israel content. And that happens like there's institutions, PR, et cetera, like pushing certain narratives. But the fact that this is becoming just more upfront, like government corporations aren't afraid to say this publicly of like, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're using social media. Netanyahu said something like the war is no longer in like combat. It's on social media. So just take from that, my friends, that not everything is what it seems on social media. At this point, I don't believe so. Foreign governments do have to register if they're running campaigns like that. But from what I can find so far, the individuals that are getting paid to push a certain narrative don't have to expose that they are the ones getting paid. From what I can find so far, that might change. That might not be fully true. But what I can find so far is like people that are being paid to push certain narratives aren't having to expose that's paid in the same way. For example, if I was sponsored by a certain company, I would have to let you know that I'm running a reel and it's a sponsored reel. They don't have to do that at this point in time. So just keep in the back of your mind that things aren't what they seem. And I'm going to show you a really interesting reel I found yesterday that talks about TikTok. And then we'll go into a little aspects of it as well. So let me pull that up first. And this is just stuff you need to know. Like this whole channel, what we talk about is media manipulation, narrative control, seeing behind the spin. We all have to be aware of it. Because, and I think, the propaganda that a lot of people are buying into, and I'm just going to say one thing, by the way, I trust no government. I trust no government. So, this isn't a hit on like one type of government in the US versus the other or right versus left. I'm not getting into a right versus left fight because I'm pro-truth. And I think every government's bought and paid for by the powers that be, and their puppet masters pull the strings. That's what I believe. So I am not saying that this is a certain fight on one end of the political spectrum. I'm saying we all have to be aware that regardless of who's in power, there is a fight, and it's brought straight to your doorstep through social media. Because as Netanyahu said, the war is no longer physical wars, in-person wars with like weapons. The war is in social media. And the fight over TikTok is very intentional, because it is a completely different algorithm than everything else. And that's why I like this video. It describes it so succinctly. I'm so glad you guys are on the same page. Like, I just don't trust government. They all have an agenda. All right, let's listen.
TikTok sale has anything to do with security, you're not paying attention. It has nothing to do with the data they collect and everything to do with the algorithm, aka what you are allowed to see. TikTok is a modifiable piece of software, approved, tested, and downloaded from major app stores onto any device. Modifying the type of data it collects is nothing more than changing lines of code. If you want to suggest that the security lies in where the data is stored and therefore processed, it's been processed and stored in the United States since 2022. The mainstream corporate Mockingbird media is no longer effective at controlling the disposition of the public around a specific topic or issue, meaning that the most reliable, quickest, and least influenced takes are only found by crowdsourcing media to the people. This means that the collective power of the public to communicate with itself has never been stronger, and thus more difficult to control. Though the primary stakeholders of the new entity are US-based, their allegiance is questionable. Oracle is a primary stakeholder in this new entity and has been storing TikTok's data since 2022. Oracle happens to also be a tremendous beneficiary of US government-based contracts amounting to billions of dollars annually. Not only does this mean that whatever the administration is has a tremendous amount of leverage over what is ostensibly the media, but they will also be in control of who gets appointed to key positions on the board. What this essentially means is that the fastest growing and most effective media distribution mechanism that's ever existed for the common citizen in the history of time will now be state-run media. The reason that TikTok has been so effective is because it's an interest-based graph as opposed to a subscription-based graph, which means the information that you see is purely based on your own interest, your behavior, your interaction with content versus whom you subscribe to. This allows for an unprecedented amount of information discovery, meaning leading you to information that you may not have otherwise found. The reason this is so much more powerful than the other social media apps is that many of them were all built on a subscription-based model, meaning you primarily see information from people that you have chosen to subscribe to. If the other social media applications that existed and predated TikTok were to change to this model, it would alienate all the top creators that spent a lot of time, money, and hard work to generate all of those subscription-based subscribers. This model has left every other social media application in a trap where if they alienate all of their existing users that built up that application to what it is today and just focused on the interest-based graph like TikTok does, they would potentially lose those people from the app entirely. This puts TikTok in a unique position to become easily the most dominant. Those who seek to control the collective mind know this, so they identified a boogeyman and cut it off at the knees. Yet another unprecedented intervention between the state and the free press. But don't worry, guys, I'm from the government and I'm here for your safety. More like their safety from you seeing something that they don't want you to see.
Yep. That's all it is, guys. That's all this sale of TikTok is. And yes, I forget who mentioned it, so I apologize that I'm not about to mention you by name, but Larry Ellison, yes, is linked to Ryan Reynolds through Sale GP. I believe he co-founded or something like that, but he's connected with Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is also connected to Silver Lake, which is one of the main buyers for TikTok, because Silver Lake is involved with Endeavor. What do we know about Endeavor? Well, that's Ari Emanuel's company. So Silver Lake is involved in Endeavor. I'm telling you right now, I won't be shocked when this sale goes through and you start seeing maximum effort TikTok ads. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Your one handshake, like Ryan Reynolds is one handshake removed from all this shit. So I wouldn't even be shocked if you start to see Ryan Reynolds involved in this. Now, there's a lot going on with this. I'm going to say a couple things. I have a lot of thoughts. I actually think what I'm going to do, I have a whole folder on this and government connections. I'm not putting it on this YouTube channel because I think it'll get my channel taken down. What I'll probably do is for the paid tier on Substack, I actually am hosting all of your content over time in Kajabi itself. So YouTube can't take me down. TikTok can't take me down for it. And so what I think I'm going to do is actually record videos tracing all the government connections, because once you know it, BlackRock is also eyeballs deep in all of this. So I think I'm going to connect all the government stuff and put it in the Kajabi portal for the Substack members. And then that way I can't get hit with it because my channel can't afford to get hit again. Like I get hundreds of messages a week being like, I can't find your content. I have to search for it and I still can't find it. Sorry, I should clarify. I'm so used to being in like the business world that I sometimes forget not everyone knows what Kajabi is. It's just like a course hosting platform. So I have all my courses in it. So if you ever take, like, for example, we start on Tuesday, the beginner's YouTube roadmap course. So you get like a login for Kajabi. So it's all nice. It's organized. It's a course hosting platform. So I'm setting it up for a membership format. And so I actually think I sent out the email last night to the members of Substack. So you, oh shoot, did I include the link to Kajabi? I might have forgot. Shit, I'll do that today. I think I forgot to include the link to sign up for Kajabi. But you'll get access to the dashboard, and it's really nice. I can organize it properly where you can find things under headings, and we don't have to worry about anyone taking us out. I joined your Substack. Mildly welcome. I have no idea what I'm doing over there, but I'll follow you anywhere. I have no idea what I'm doing over there. I have no idea. All I know is that they are very much more pro free speech and not censorship over there. So that's kind of my jam. But let's do that. I'll get into the government piece and the connections with foreign governments over there, especially with BlackRock. We're going to touch on it a little bit here, but I don't want to get my channel even more demonetized and in trouble. So one thing I want to say, I'm going to lay out a couple points I have first in regards to the TikTok sale is number one, government oversight and control does not equal neutrality. What we know about so far about the deal with Oracle and Silver Lake and all these BlackRock, all of them, is it's in cooperation with the government. So we don't know fully what that means, but I can nearly guarantee that it does not mean neutrality. If the US government and these entities take control of TikTok, what we're going to end up having is, well, they're going to have structural influence over your algorithm. They're going to have structural influence over what you see, what you don't see, what gets pushed, what doesn't get pushed. Remember, that's the interesting thing about TikTok is you're not necessarily seeing the people you follow, which is what you primarily see on other platforms, although they've tried to hijack TikTok's algorithm. It hasn't really happened. It's just pissed people off on Facebook and Instagram. But TikTok, essentially what people love about is you have the For You page, you're seeing a bunch of stuff. The US government and their powers that be are now going to have control over what you see. So we all know that it's not going to be, I don't care what government runs it, I don't care who's in power, but it's not going to be neutral. It essentially is, the algorithm of TikTok is going to become a vehicle for censorship, propaganda, power moves, narrative control. It's just under a different banner. Whoever owns it, it's just under a different banner. Now, the power for TikTok, again, is in the algorithm and the data flow. That switchboard, and again, I don't know the tech of it, but the way that the algorithm works, that's what everyone's been after. That's what the fight's been after. That's why everyone wants control of it. They want control over that algorithm. So what you have to start asking yourself is, why does the US government and whoever they're connected to, why are they so desperate for control over that algorithm? That's the question we have to ask. And I don't have a full answer to that, other than I know that they're going to be using it for whatever their means are. And I'll play the clip from Netanyahu as well on what he said and how he's going to use it. He's very excited about the sale going through. But that's what we have to start asking ourselves. That's when we start thinking critically, is why is there such a fight over this algorithm? Why is everyone fighting over it? Why does everyone want control over this algorithm? I don't know. And that's why I'm concerned. And you're probably going to see a switch as soon as the algorithm switches over. Now, when we're looking at certain entities like BlackRock as well, that are like, BlackRock basically owns the world, by the way. They're sketch. They're sketch. Sure, you could argue on paper or on face value of well, we don't have the risk of China anymore with ByteDance and all this. It's just government owned in the US by these entities, which are going to have their own spin on what they want the algorithm to show you. So we have Oracle as the main one. We have Silver Lake, which again is connected to Ari Emanuel, Endeavor. We have Andreessen Horowitz, A16Z, which is a venture capital firm founded by Mark Anderson and Ben Horowitz. Their portfolio includes Coinbase, Clubhouse, Substack, OpenAI, Instagram in the early days, Airbnb. We all know we have issues with Airbnb here. What I can find on them is that Mark Anderson is loud about AI, crypto, and network states. It could be about pushing policy narratives. That's kind of Silicon Valley type world. You have the Murdochs, that are involved. So Wall Street Journal, New York Post, like all we're doing, guys, is centralizing power in the hands of a couple of people. That is literally all we're doing. And now we're like, yes, not us, obviously, give TikTok to them because the US has told us China's the big bad. So thank you. Thankfully, we're getting it on US soil when it's like we're literally just centralizing power in the hands of a few people. Everything we take in, now it's infiltrated over to social media, is controlled by the powers that be, and the same couple powers that be that are running everything. They're treating our brains like computer systems and they're just coding it in. And now they're going to use an algorithm to bypass, and that's all it is, bypass the conscious mind, speak directly to the subconscious mind. And now you don't even know why you believe something, but you just believe something because the TikTok algorithm told you to. Oh, yeah, this is just a mess. BlackRock as well has holds in and stakes in companies that supply weapons or tech used by Israel in the war. There's actually a UN report that names BlackRock among the top institutional investors in companies that, according to the report, supply arms, surveillance infrastructure, cloud tech, troop support capabilities, etc., to Israel. There's also, let me see if I still have it up. I might have, no, there we go. So these people are not, like, these companies are not neutral. TikTok is not going to be neutral. I've been banging the drum on this for some time that this is not something to be celebrating, this sale. So BlackRock did not respond to urgent call by UN experts to cease the transfer of arms to Israel. So BlackRock is also cited as a significant shareholder, what I was able to find, 7 to 8%. And Lockheed Martin, a major US defense contractor whose products, jets, missiles, weapon systems are used globally, including in Israel military operations. It also, BlackRock owns shares in Israeli companies, including Elbit Systems, which is a defense tech firm with heavy involvement in drones, surveillance systems, and other military hardware. So, you know, when people are saying that BlackRock, you hear often is like funding Israel, and that's kind of what this article is saying here. They're providing the capital and the debt holdings. They're investing BlackRock in companies whose output are used in the conflict. So, again, it's not neutral what's about to go down. Let me see if I can find, I think I have it saved under my bookmarks about how Netanyahu feels about. Oh, no, pause. Okay, let me pull it up here. Because this is what governments are planning, guys. Like, again, I trust no government. I have Jewish friends that are no longer friends with me anymore because I'm questioning things that are going on and that I don't agree with some things that are going on. I'm not coming for the people. I don't trust any government. And in my opinion, I feel like we should all be concerned about governments being like, yeah, I'm taking the fight to social media. We should all be concerned about this.
First published paper was how you and the Likud party are cut from the same ideological cloth as Trump and the GOP in America. And
exactly,
so
Leo.
With Charlie Kirk's assassination,
exactly
was a big mentor of mine. He's my first mentor in the space. Evangelicals, from all my research, evangelicals are the reason that Israel has been supported in public sphere outside of just Jews. So with Charlie's assassination and with the kind of trajectory that we see with like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, I guess I'm curious about what's another game plan if we lose evangelical support for the state of Israel. What's our backup plan to be strong, like outside of the diaspora?
Christian influencers. Okay, you said we talked about the woke right, and you said I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant. The woke right, because these people, you know, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're movies, but they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well. Okay, and you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is class
Followers.
TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. Exactly. Very good. And, you know, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our Jewish our friends. Are we going to succeed with everyone? No. Will there be a strong counterpart? Yes.
And like I said, I don't care what government is talking about controlling TikTok. It doesn't sit right for me. Thank you so much, Fab. I'm Jewish. I support you and agree with you 1,000%. I'm so glad that people can see my heart and my intention with calling things out, because this is what I believe. As Leo said, it's 99% of us versus 1% of them. And it's all money. It's all control. It's all an illusion. That's why the whole channel exists. Just show us behind the illusion. I don't trust any government. I don't trust any government that is excited about manipulating people on TikTok. And I have no doubt multiple governments are. I'm not saying that's the only government that is. But what I do think is we have to be very concerned about the direction TikTok's going to go, because it's insidious. Like it's this like underlying tone where you're going to be start to be fed a certain narrative over and over and over and over and over again, where you don't even realize in the beginning your beliefs are shifting. You don't even realize in the beginning things are changing, or that they're not even your own views or not even your own beliefs. And it's just because we spend so much time on social media and you're taking all of that in. And at the end of the day, it's propaganda. So anyway, those are my thoughts that I think I can share here. In regards to what's going on with TikTok, I will create better content in regards to some of the ties. I literally have graphs in my Google Drive in regards to all of this. But I don't know. I keep going back and forth if I just delete TikTok. I don't spend a lot of time on it, to be honest. I kind of use it as like an extra place I upload reels that I put on Instagram or YouTube. But I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm getting rid of it or not. I don't know, guys. TikTok's just beginning soon. X, YouTube, and others will. Yeah. And, you know, we know Zuckerberg's talked about in the past how governments told him to suppress certain things. It's very obvious that YouTube does it because, like, I can see it in my own channel. You know, views and reach will be going up, up, up. I talk about something controversial, everything tanks. I start getting demonetized. It's so obvious that it happens. But yes, I agree. I think it's going to get worse and worse over time. And so my whole point is, we've just got to remember, right? Like, it's not about living in fear. It's living in discernment. It's just looking at things and having that critical eye, because now the crazy thing is people don't have to say that they're paid by foreign governments or anything. They just go up there and say it, and you're none the wiser, which is very concerning to me. It's very funny that YouTube put out that apology for censoring people while they continue to do it. The funny thing is, I read that apology and it was later that day. I believe it was later that day or the next morning. I got hit with the suspicious activity and my account got flagged. And it was also the funny thing about YouTube censoring my account. So talking to YouTube, they're like, well, it's this reel that is the problem. The reel that triggered this whole thing on my account was a Van Zandt reel. So they said the real's the problem. And I said, okay, well, it doesn't make sense because you're saying my Mac is the problem because it shows you like what the apparent suspicious activity is coming from. And I said, you're saying the Mac's the problem. And they said, yeah, in regards to that reel. I said, no, because that reel was uploaded on my phone. And you're not showing any issues with my phone. So what's the actual issue with my account? Why are these videos getting flagged? It was 2 that got flagged in regards to Charlie Kirk, but the first one that got flagged was the Van Zandt sham lawsuit reel. And then the Van Zandt video got flagged. And then 2 of my Charlie Kirk videos got flagged right after that. And so I said to YouTube, I said, okay, so you're telling me it's the reel that triggered this. And the device it was on apparently is compromised. And they said, yes. I said, but it wasn't uploaded on the device you're telling me it was uploaded on. It was uploaded on my phone. You're telling me my computer is the problem. They're going, yes. Like, no, don't tell me yes, because this makes no sense. And then their response, YouTube's response to me was like, oh, it's okay. Like, yeah, it's going to like clean up the account in the background, but like it's not going to affect your account at all. Well, that's funny because I went from like 17 to 20,000 views to like 1 to 2,000 views. So you're trying to tell me not to worry that it's not actually impacting my account. Cool. So that's the fight I'm in with YouTube right now. But they are claiming that it was the reel that had suspicious activity around Van Zandt. I think that reel got reported, mass reported by bots is my suspicion. But why they're saying it's on my phone, or sorry, on the computer when that was uploaded on my phone, they can't even answer that. But they also won't remove. Yeah, YouTube talking like they're Andrew Colvett, literally. Maybe he's their PR person. He's their PR person. YouTube's luring people in a false sense of security. They're going to pull the rug out soon. I think so. There's something going on with YouTube. 100%. 100%. All right, my friends, I'm going to let you go. This went 2 hours. I was hoping to just do an hour. We are going to jump on. Give me 5 minutes. We'll jump on late, obviously. The members only. I want to get into stuff that Ryan Reynolds has been doing. He's in the news for just being gross. We'll talk about Ryan Reynolds. We'll talk about a couple other things over on the members only. So I'm going to log off this. Give me about 5 minutes, and then we'll log on to the members only live. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. I really appreciate your support. If you are looking to join the Beginners YouTube Roadmap, that starts on Tuesday with the first module. The modules are pre-recorded because, surprise, Ashley likes to talk. So the modules are pre-recorded. However, every Friday we have a group call where I'm going to support you with your YouTube channel. And I really enjoy working with people that are looking for building like an actual empire and a business. So especially is going to be relevant to you if you're looking to build out like a complete business model. All right. So that's going to be extra relevant. I'm going to teach you all about building email lists, how important that is, different ways to diversify. So if you do get demonetized on YouTube, you are good. It's taking it right from the beginning of picking a niche all the way out to building it out. So if you're called, I'll see you there. Otherwise, thank you so much for hanging out with me on your Saturday, my friends. I will see you, if you're a member, on the Members Only Live in 5 minutes. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one on Monday. Bye, guys.